All right, are you Zachary Warren?
I am, Your Honor.
All right, you entered a plea in this case. I think someone else did the plea. So you entered a plea on April 19th to the offense of indecency with a child by contact. According to the plea bargaining agreement, punishment should be assessed at a cap of 12 years. The state is opposed to your applications. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report? State?
We have, Your Honor.
Defense?
We have, Your Honor.
Any objections? State?
No, Your Honor.
Defense?
No.
State, do you have any witnesses?
We have one brief witness. Marina is getting her.
All right.
State calls Carissa Borles.
All right, you could approach, please. All right, could you raise your right hand for me, please? You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, if you could lower your hand, state your name and spell it for the record, please.
Charissa Borles, Charissa.
Excuse me, no children in the courtroom. Are those your witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
All right, who's bringing babies to the courtroom? There's something called COVID, and this courthouse is germy, no matter how we try to clean it.
I mean, and with it being such close family together, and because of it being his family, we have to figure out how to support our daughter and it's different.
Is this something that continues to affect your family?
Okay.
In what ways?
I mean, mostly with Allison. She still doesn't know how to handle everything, especially with all of the reschedules with court and everything. She's been having to be ready for any change made within this case. She's been waiting for some sort of answer, and like I said, she constantly brings up the case or, wondering what's going on or when's it going to be over.
Do you feel safe with the idea of Zachary being around children, other children?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want Zachary held accountable? I'll pass the witness.
No questions.
All right, thank you for coming in. All right, State, do you have any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Defense?
Judge, I'd like to call Christine Miller, please.
Could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand if you can state your name for the record, please.
Christine Miller, CHRISTINE MILLE.
Defense?
Ms. Miller, can you tell the judge what kind of work you do?
I'm a licensed professional counselor with the state of Texas, in Bernie, Texas.
Okay, and tell the judge what kind of counseling services you ordinarily perform, or what you're licensed to perform.
I use a couple of techniques for people to help them. Counseling is a way of confiding in someone, and the techniques that I use are cognitive behavioral therapy, which is change your mind, changes your body, and vice versa. I also use something called EMDR, which changes the mental pathways in your brain. And that helps people who have gone through a really hard time in the past or with post-traumatic stress. And that helps them not experience those triggers, post-traumatic stress symptoms. And if it's highly effective, it's the #1 most researched method in counseling. So I've had a lot of success with that. I have been using it since 2012, where I've been trained.
So let me try to break this down into just a couple questions. So how long have you been licensed as a counselor, you said?
Since 2012, fully licensed. without being an intern since 2016.
In that time, have you worked with other people who have come to you for counseling regarding sex offenses or family violence offenses?
Family violence, yes, not specifically sex offenses.
Okay, so can you tell the court how you met Zach, and then about the type of treatment and services you provided to Zach?
He was referred to me by a previous client, and I have seen him 4 times recently, and it is my opinion that he has been honest with me, forthcoming, explained the situation. I was able to use the techniques that I have described to you on at least 2 of the 4 occasions. And I felt his sincerity and honesty with me and openness.
So when you talk about the treatment you provided, does that explore his past history? Does that talk about things that trigger him? Does the work you do, is that supposed to work on him being able to be a better person moving forward?
Yes. So it takes those memories, those childhood memories, and we change the mental result. It's, for example, you change the ending to a story. You might read a story, you change the ending. You can do that in your brain. It's fascinating. And they're exploring all kinds of neural pathways in the brain nowadays. And so keeping up with that, it actually changes your behavior. So for post-traumatic stress, if you're being triggered and you act out, post-traumatic stress, it feels like the past situation is actually happening now, and it changes that. You start thinking about it less and less and less, and it becomes part of the history, and then already we used it, and the next time he said he confronted a person, and it was very helpful to him from his past, and he was able to focus not on the past, but on how he's going to behave in the future.
So moving forward, if the judge gives Zach probation, I guess, will you continue to work with Zach
Yes,
in counseling
yes,
and work with these different techniques that you use in order to help him deal with the issues he dealt with when he was
yes.
younger?
He has asked to be continued, and I would gladly pursue that.
Okay, now, you're not, you and I talked about this, you're not licensed to perform any sort of risk assessment.
No.
That's a different specified type of license that you didn't see, right?
Not that.
Okay.
Suicidal risk assessment, I can.
Okay.
And he has not exhibited any of those different symptoms. So, but actual sex problems, I've never, that's a whole different thing that I'm not certified to do.
But so will the treatment that you're providing him, will that help him, do you think, in all of his life moving forward? And not just the issues, the sex offender issues and things like that, but the life issues moving forward?
Absolutely. It helps us with those triggers. It helps addictions of any sort. It helps behavior issues. It's really amazing technique and treatment. So, but it does require a certain number of sessions to be able to come, so that if probation is judged, then he would, I feel like he could be required to attend counseling with those treatments in mind.
No other questions?
I have nothing further.
All right, thank you. Defense, call your next witness.
Laura Lee Warren.
Can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Or you can lower your hand and need you to speak up. Could you state your name and spell it for the record?
Okay, my name is Laura Lee Warren, Laralewarren.
All right, defense.
Ms. Warren, how are you related to Zach? Okay, you can just speak up, okay, because she's got to take down the
Okay,
record.
I'm his wife.
And you understand, we're here today because we're asking the judge to consider Zach's application for deferred adjudication, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you know what he's charged with, correct?
Yes, sir.
And he entered a plea in that case, and he's applying for deferred. And one of the issues that is always raised on cases like this is if somebody is granted probation or deferred, there are restrictions on a person's contact with children. Now, you and Zach have you have a 10-year-old, right?
Yes, sir.
Are you the primary custodian?
Yes.
And you understand that your duty as a parent is to look out for the best interest of your child, correct?
Correct.
And are you comfortable with asking the judge if Zach is granted deferred, with Zach being in your house with you and your child?
Yes.
Okay. And you understand CPS has no qualms about removing a child if they think a mother is not acting in the child's best interest. Okay. And how long have you and Zach been together?
About on and off 5 years. I mean, I've known him for 5 years. So,
And have you seen Zach exhibit any sort of behavior that would give you any concerns about Zach being around your child? And if the judge does grant Zach's application for deferred, are you willing to participate in a chaperone program?
yes.
And you and I talked about that, right? The requirement for Zach to be around your child if the court granted that. And are you asking the judge to give Zach a chance at deferred adjudication?
Yes.
Judge, I pass the witness.
All right, state.
Just a couple questions. You said you and Zach have been together about 5 years.
Yeah, on and off.
So you guys got together when your son was about 5 years old?
Yes.
Do you guys plan to have kids?
No.
No other questions?
I have nothing further, Judge.
All right, thank you for coming. Defense, your next witness.
Shirley Jo Blair.
Shirley Jo Blair. Can you raise your hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Or you can lower your hand if you state your name for the record and please spell it.
Shirley Jo Blair, SHIRLEYJOBLAIR.
Defense.
Ma'am, how are you related to Zach?
Zachary is my son.
And you understand we're here today because Zach applied for deferred adjudication on this case, correct?
Yes.
And you know, we've talked about what the specific allegations are,
Yes.
right? And you were present when we were set for trial and when Zach entered the plea.
Yes.
And you and I talked about this, and you felt more comfortable if you wanted to read a letter that you prepared for the judge.
Yes.
Okay. So,
Any objections to her reading the letter?
No objection. I mean, she's still subject to cross-examination.
Yes, you may read your letter. How long is the letter?
It's typed, but it's big print, but it's 3 pages.
All right, no problem. I was just wondering.
And Judge, on that note, I want to make sure that you got the victim impact statement that was submitted separately.
Yes, I received it, but I have not reviewed.
I got it.
Any objections? All right, so you may begin with your letter.
My name is Shirley Jo Blair. I would first like to take a moment to state that while my experience in criminal law is but a very small fraction of my experience, I'm a career paralegal, have been for 26 years. I'm a senior litigation case manager and a case manager team lead, responsible for 12 case managers, litigation assistants, and interns. I say that, Judge, so that you know I'm an educated person. As I sit here today, it's still unreal to me that my family has been going through all of these years. The amount of trauma that every member of our family has gone through is more than I can put into words. My children and my family have been torn apart, and the relationship between them irreparable. I, as well as the rest of the family, have had to separate our lives between children and grandchildren. My granddaughter has had to endure things at a young age that no one, let alone a child, should have to go through and understand. My son has endured things that no one should have to endure or be subjected to. There are no winners here today, at least not for my considerate child, has always given me such a sense of pride. All of the things that I feel something that's always today simply the heart means I'm going to see to my best highlight the things I feel most important to say. I was diagnosed at a young age, Zachary being my youngest, and I need to tell you a little bit about him, because as he sits here today in front of you, so not every day was a walk in the park that had been brought against him. There were depressive and angry days where he felt someone who was even painted as a monster, and there were manic days where he was the happiest. On the day of ultimate judgment, he'll stand before God. Zachary is and always has been that sweet, loving, so it's unfair for someone that even his oldest brother judging him, father of my life-altering sentence, the absolute joy of my life, not know a little bit more about him. Who is the focus of these charges? And that's what I've written. Would have to say so that you have more than what's in your court papers. Zachary is a product of a broken home. Premature. At the age of 5, Zachary's father abandoned us and left me with 3 young boys to figure out how to take care of alone. He was a sole provider most of their lives, kind, because-hearted, considerate child, always has most of the time, and was always thought of others before himself. He did show back up all of my boys are all of those things, but it's not about them. We're always strained. Zachary has always had such a deep-rooted sense of need to take care of everyone. We moved together often during the boys' childhood, feel welcome. While I tried to be the best mother I know times during Zachary's life, I was young, and raising them as a single mother, and I made choices that I did not realize were bad at the time, has always given me such a sense of pride. Choices that made life harder on my children. Choices that led my children to go through things I was unaware of until their adulthoods, were diagnosed at a young age. My children had not had with ADHD and childhood, bipolar, but they sheltered me from many things that I should have. So not every day was a walk in the park. Here again, we see the kindness and consideration all life was unfair, and there were manic days where he was the happiest. On September 26, 2012, at his core, though, Zachary is and always has been that sweet, loving, funny, considerate person. That even his oldest brother holds him as the father of my granddaughter. If you have children, you know that the love you feel for them the moment they're placed in your arms is the focus of these charges. Makes your heart feel so full it almost burst. If you have grandchildren, Zachary is a product of the moment that grandchild is placed in your arms. At the age of 5, you knew what love was. Zachary's father abandoned us and left me with 3 young boys to figure out how to take care of them. This is very important for me to say. I was a sole provider most of their lives. Because the love that I'm explaining to you has only deepened over the last almost 10 years. I lived next door to my oldest son, Colton, and their lives, but their relationships and Allison and father were always strained. I was lucky enough to see her every day, as was Zachary. I spent almost every day with Allison during the 4 years of her life. While I tried to be for almost 2.5, I know how to be. I was young, and raising them as a single mother, and I made choices that I did not realize I never had. The bond that I have with that child goes beyond my comprehension. Life harder on my children. I can tell you that led my children to go through I would wage money I was unaware of no greater love on this earth than the love I have. I knew my children had not had the easiest of childhoods. The love that Zachary had, they sheltered me from many things that Allison and Zachary bonded from the beginning. Zachary would we see the kindness and consideration for all of my boys. He would rock her to sleep, help teach her to walk and talk. On September 26, 2012, God bless in a crowded room, Allison would choose Zachary to hold her over even her parents. When the allegations of these charges occurred, Zachary would have been just about 20 years old. If you have children, you know that the love you feel for them the moment they're placed in your arms. It was almost a year after the allegations of the charges were filed when Zachary was arrested on charges that could very well be considered one of the most strictly punishable charges in our placed in your arms that you only thought you knew what to make matters worse through no fault of his own or this court's. COVID has further delayed this whole situation, causing it to go on far longer than it should have. Because of love, I'm not sure if anyone can imagine the pain and suffering that he went through during the first year, not knowing what would come of all of this. I lived next door to my oldest son, Colton, the remainder of these years mother when Allison was born. Anyone facing charges, I was lucky enough to see her every day, bound to carry a heavy burden. Imagine carrying that every day with Allison for the first 3 years of her life. The hell of it all has been almost 2.5 of those 3 years, and almost unbearable at times to watch. She is more than my grandchild. Over the years, the daughter I never has gone on. The bond that I have with that child try to have a normal life. He's a loving husband and stepfather to a child whose father passed away when he was very young. That there is no greater love. He's found peace through prayers and relationships he has formed with members of the church. The love that Zachary has a good job and was also very deep. Allison and
He's shown
Zachary
up during
bonded from the
inclement
beginning.
weather in the
Zachary
middle of
would
the
thank
night
the older,
weekends
feed
to
her,
fix
laugh,
things
and
for his
play with her.
grandparents.
He would rock
He's
her to
taken in
sleep,
friends
help
in their
teach her
time
to
of
walk
need
and
to help
talk.
them get back
The
on
two
their
of them
feet.
were inseparable. Zachary has
In a
worked very
crowded
hard
room,
to have a better
Allison would
life, and
choose
Zachary
Zachary to hold
always
her over
puts
either
others before
parent.
himself. I know
When
the
the
appointed
allegations
mothers
of
of
these
these
charges
charges before you
occurred,
and
Zachary
fled for
would
mercy
insist
for the
just about
child.
20 years old.
I realize that in a
Allison
sense
was
I'm no different than any
It was
other
almost
mother
a year after the
who comes
allegations
up
when
when
the
charges
docket.
were filed and Zachary was arrested.
What I
on
hope
charges
is
that
that
could very well
glimpse
be
into
Zachary's
Zachary's
life
life
the
of
most
strictly
likely has
punishable charges
successfully
in our
conveyed
judicial
that Zachary is not just the charges. To
before
make
you.
matters worse,
Through
he's
no
a young
fault of his
man who
own
has
or
suffered
this
in life,
court's,
a young man who has worked to better his life,
situation,
the life of his little family, and a young man who is caring and compassionate.
I'm not sure if anyone can imagine the pain
not
and
just a
suffering
common
that he
criminal
went through
you
during
may
the
be
first year,
accustomed
not
to
knowing
seeing
what
in your
would come
courtroom
of all
every
of
day.
this.
Then he spent
I
the
hope
remainder
also
of
that
these
you will
years
see
strapped
that
with
I
an
am
evil
not
mother.
just another mother.
Anyone
I am
facing
the grandmother
charges
to the child in
like
question.
this is bound to carry a heavy burden.
The grandmother who is
Imagine
very much
carrying
still
that part of this
being
little girl's
someone who
life and
suffers
who
from
wants
bipolar
nothing more
disorder.
than to erase the
The
last
hell of it
5
all
years
has been
from
a
ever
lot
having been
all of the
experienced.
time
And
and
almost
almost
unbearable
unbearable
at times to watch a child go through.
I'm someone who can sit
Over
here
the
before you
years,
today and tell you that I do not believe that my son is a threat to
Zachary has
his
worked
child.
hard to try
That
to
an
have a normal
allegation like
life.
this will never be
He's a
made
loving
against him
husband and
again.
stepfather to a child
I'm
whose father
sitting here
passed away
today
when he was
asking
very
you
young. To take into consideration
found peace
the fact
through
that the man you are
prayers
judging
and
today
relationships
could
he has
benefit
formed
with
with his
members of the
already
church.
benefited from
He has a
counseling.
good job and supports his
Asking you
family.
to take into consideration
He's
the
shown
time,
up during
money,
inclement weather
loss of friends
in the
in
middle of the
family,
night and on the
jobs,
weekends
and
to fix things for his
untold
sleepless
parents.
nights in agony.
He has
He's
taken in
gone through
friends in their
his
time of
case
need
to help them get back on their
Asking
feet.
you to ask
Zachary has
yourself,
worked very
tearing
hard to
him
have a better
away
life,
from the
and
life
Zachary
and family
always
he
puts others
loves and
before
who loves
himself.
him is the right
I know
course
that
of
plenty of
action.
mothers have sat here before
Asking
you
you to
and pled
believe
for
that
mercy for
Zachary
the
has a
child.
support system
I
of not only
realize that
family
in a
members,
sense
but
I'm no
members of the
different
church
than
who
any
want to
other
help
mother
him
who
build a
comes
better
up
life
and be the best version of himself. What I hope is that a glimpse into Zachary's life I've provided has successfully conveyed that Zachary is not just the charges before you. He's a young man who has suffered in life, a young
I
man
ask for
who has
grace.
worked to better his life,
Grace.
the life of his little
Something we
family,
can all
and a
use
young
more
man who is caring and compassionate, and not
No
just a
questions
common
regarding
criminal you may be accustomed to seeing
So I
in your
want you to
courtroom
let,
every day.
excuse me, miss. I want to
I hope
to
also
let
that
know
you will
something
see
about
that
the
I am not
White
just
House
another
District
mother.
Court.
I
don't
am the
see
grandmother to
anybody
the
in
child
here
in question.
as a common criminal or
The
criminal.
grandmother who is very much
Everybody
still a
comes
part of this
before
little
me,
girl's
I
life
see
and
them
who
as
wants nothing more than
individuals.
to erase the
Understand?
last 5 years
Thank
from
you for
ever having been
coming and letting me
experienced
know about
for
yourself.
her sake and for Zachary's.
All right,
I'm someone who
Courtney,
can
are
sit
you
here
ready?
before you today and tell you that I do not believe that my son is a threat to
This
any
case
child.
is not about Zachary.
That an
Warren.
allegation like this will never be
This
made
case is
against him
about
again.
Allison Borlas,
I'm
who was
sitting
a
here today
4-year-old
asking
child at
you
the time,
to take into consideration the
Zachary
fact
did
that the
to
man
her,
you're judging
how he
today could
betrayed
benefit
her,
and has
how he
already benefited
violated
from
her,
counseling.
how he destroyed
Asking you to
this
take into
family because of
consideration
his
the time,
actions
money,
and no one else's.
loss of friends and family,
This was a
jobs,
4-year-old who
and
couldn't even
untold
swim.
sleepless nights
So
and
the
agony
only
that
reason
he's
he was
gone through
alone
over
with
the
her
course of
was
this
because
case.
she had a broken
Asking you
floaty.
to
She
ask
couldn't even
yourself if
properly
tearing him
wipe
away
her own
from the
bottom.
life and family he loves and who
And
loves
as the
him
court
is
is
the
aware,
right
she
course of
says
action.
Zachary spit on his
Asking you to believe that
genitals.
Zachary has
and
a
rubbed them
support system of
against
not
hers.
only family
How
members,
does a
but members of the
4-year-old
church
even
who
know
want
about
to help
something
him
like that?
build a better life and be the best
Now,
version
we've
of
heard from
himself.
testimony, Zachary still has access to children. That terrifies me. That should terrify this court. Some actions are just so
I
heinous
ask for grace.
that it doesn't matter that it's a one-time
Something
thing.
we
It
can
doesn't
all use
matter that
more
it's one child. He needs to be held accountable.
No
He's
questions.
still not
regarding it.
taking responsibility.
So I
He's
want
still
you to
saying
let-
this didn't
excuse me,
happen.
miss. I want you
That
to
he's
let
being
you know
framed.
something about the
He's not
187th
showing
District
remorse.
Court.
He's
I don't
not
see anybody in
apologizing.
here
just
as a
blaming.
common criminal or
We're
criminal.
asking you, based on
Everybody
the
who comes
facts of
before
this
me,
case,
I see them as
based on what
individuals.
Alice and her
You understand?
family have been through,
Right, thank you
based
for
on what
coming
he's done to
and
this
letting me know
entire
about your son.
family, that you send him to prison for the full 12
Right,
years.
we'll hear
you hit the
argument.
cap.
All right, defense.
Judge, it's a court where people take no contest pleas every day. People accept plea bargains every day. Even in situations question of the court members when you were a defense lawyer in situations where defendants maintain their innocence, but accept a plea bargain knowing the ramifications of a trial, particularly on a case like this, with the range of punishment. Obviously, when we came up for trial, finally, after we made it out the other side of COVID, the state understood the nature of their case just like I did, which is how we arrived at the plea bargain. So at the time the plea bargain was accepted, Zach and I and his mother and the lawyer that she works for was here as well. And they sat down. I talked to them about the plea bargain. and what the options were. And this was the decision that was made. And so I tell people I'm not going to put you on the stand to have you lie or make you say something that's untrue. Zach still stands by his plea. And wants the court to honor the plea bargain. I know some courts would probably consider, busting the deal and telling people to go to trial. Zach stands by his plea. He is willing to accept the consequences. What we do ask, I don't think I've heard a more eloquent argument in my time of practice than I heard from Zach's mom. Just as far as I think we do have a tendency to look at the offense and not the person behind it. I began representing Zach before the charges were filed, and Zach is, I guess we're going on 4 years now, and I understand the court's concern about the nature of the allegations. I would ask the court to consider granting his application for deferred. I know it's unusual in these situations, but I do think he has an amazing support system. The minister is here, his family's here, and I find it amazing. And as the court's aware from your time as a prosecutor, these cases split families apart, and I do find it refreshing that Zach's mom is able to maintain a relationship with both sons as well as her granddaughter in this situation. So I would ask the court to grant his application for deferred. If the court does not feel that's appropriate, I would ask the court to take into consideration all the factors, the 4 years of house arrest and everything else. And I would ask the court to assess at the low end of the range of punishment.
Right. All right, Mr. Warren, I want to let you know that I've listened to the witness from the state and also your witnesses, and I always internalize what I hear, and I always read the PSI report with a fine-tooth comb, and I've read what you entered without objection from the defense, the impact statement. After reviewing everything, the court will find you guilty. The court is going to order Chapter 62 compliance. There's to be no contact with the complainant, no contact with minors. There's a $1,500 fine, time and money to run concurrent, and the court will sentence you to 12 years in the prison. Showing you what's entitled trial court certification of defendant's rights to appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed the plea bargain agreement, because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you.